Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life Podcast. Back again with Jurassic Legacy and Jack O'Hara.
That's me again.
So it's been a long time coming. Y'all know it should have been
Mm.
here probably sooner, but
Oh,
semantics.
many weeks break, ladies and gents, but here we are once more.
No, it was all
Your
planned.
listening
We just
pleasure, we
wanted to give
assume.
y'all viewers some time to actually watch the show. Yeah, that's
Oh, for
totally what
sure.
happened.
Because otherwise we'd be getting bloody hammered for being accused of spoiling it ahead of time. It's like, bro, it's been out for 2 weeks now.
Absolutely,
What are you talking about?
it's been like a month, give or take,
Yeah, it feels like a month. Yeah.
most of a month. But I mean, we're still going to do a non-spoiler spoiler section. So
Yeah,
for those
sort
of
of a
you,
soft lean into it, if you were.
if you care
Mm.
about that and you haven't watched it yet for some reason, get off your
And of
butt and
course,
watch
we are
it.
of course referring to the now infamous season of Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 2. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
What a strange to start off with, Eric. What a strange wait this one was after the season one, because when Camp Cretaceous coming out, I still remember like the wait between season one and season two, and I was obviously more excited to know that of course we're getting the season two, but it didn't feel like so significant as this wait seemed to have to be, and I want to say that leans towards the show's credibility of making me so much more invested in what's going on with the story and everything to do with the characters this time around, whereas than season one of Camp Cretaceous did. Because Camp Cretaceous season one did surprise me when they actually got marooned on the island. They got left behind. I thought they were just going to
Yeah,
be saved by the end of it. We had no idea there was going to be an extra season. So
we're
when that
five.
happened, yeah, but the way that this season end of season one ended here for Chaos Theory, like it really lent itself to a sequel series that I
Yeah.
was very much looking forward to, and yeah, suddenly all of a sudden here it is.
So I mean, if I'm being honest, I feel like not much happened in season two.
I must say, yes. Now, to I guess for everyone listening, just to get it out of the way early, yeah, it was interesting how like it did feel not like a filler. Mostly stuff like that.
It
It's
felt
because
like
they were stuck this time in one specific sort of spot, which was a long Nile sort of style river, and because of that, it's not actually only that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually voicing my own thoughts for the first time. But it's the fact that even everything to do with Brooklyn, as everybody knows from the trailer, she was very heavily featured, and as soon as Jesus, how do I even put this into words? Like it feels like they kind of explained almost everything to the point of when I'm not even joking with you, Eric. When I got towards the end, and just to jump right to the end, and the ending happens, I wasn't actually left with a whole heap of like, obviously
yeah.
like shock or anything. What it was for me more, I was more confused about like, well, what are they gonna do now? Like these
What
people who've
happens
been
now?
obviously on this trail and stuff like that. They're in a foreign country, no passports or nothing. What do
The
they do now that they've even discovered miraculously that surprise everybody, Brooklyn is alive? That she's just kind of going off doing her own thing now, and it's like, well, what are they? They're left on that runway, and they're like, well, what do we even do now? Like we have no idea where they're going or what they're doing. So what do we do? Like it feels like they've
um,
genuinely like stopped.
what happened?
Here,
By the way, just don't know if that cut out there. I think. But are you near a search engine? You're about to be gravely disappointed.
oh really?
Look up what river it is in season 2 of
Really?
Chaos Theory.
Really? Interesting. I might want to pause this part then, Chief. Uh,
Here, I don't
uh,
I don't even know how I feel about this anymore. Like,
hang on.
apparently they're in the Brooklyn River.
Brooklyn. Yo, that would be insane if that's where it is.
Apparently that's what this is saying. The river featured in Jurassic World Chaos Theory is the Brooklyn River. Although I
That's
don't
crazy. Surely not. Surely there's not a Brooklyn River in Africa, right?
I it's
Hang
just
on.
saying Jurassic World Chaos Theory, although I don't know if that's season 2, although it's showing things from season 2, so I'm going to guess
Hang on.
maybe.
I'm just looking this up. Hold on. Because now you got me. Now you got me wondering if that's like the most specific reference in the world. We've found that.
But
Okay. Okay. I'm
I
finding
mean,
here. It says. We got one here. It says it's the Black River. It flows through Brooklyn, which
could
is
be. I mean,
Cape Town in Western Cape, South Africa. Oh no,
it's
it flows through
generic
Brooklyn. Yeah, it's a town in there. Huh.
generic East African river, whatever
Yeah, fair.
Use your imagination. I don't know. But I
Nah,
mean, some
fair.
generic things that happen before we get into some
Mm.
spoilers. We got some new dinosaurs. Y'all should have saw them in some long-awaited dinosaurs. We got Majungasaurus. We
He's got
got
his boy.
Superlimus.
That's it. Okay, so
Team.
all right, so you're right. We should probably swing back to the start. Okay, so they're on the boat as it opens, and it's an incredible setting for what's limited space they had, I believed. Like they're stuck in the camper, not the camper, sorry, they're stuck in the cargo ship container as we re-meet them, and it turns out it's only been a week. It has only been about a week or so of
Yeah,
travel.
yeah. I'm honestly, before we go any further, one
Mm.
second. We are now entering the spoiler section of this episode. So if you have not watched Chaos Theory, I suggest you pause this, go watch it, then come back. Come back. Yeah, cut off.
I love that. That was most abrupt.
We're using that from season 1. Too lazy to re-record it.
Gorgeous. Yeah, he's like, I don't need to put a new photo in there, mate. Still works.
I didn't say the
Still
season number. It
dinosaurs.
don't matter.
Yeah, it's still dinos in there. Anyway, so we re-meet these characters and they're on the boat. And I swear to you, man, like it's just I don't know. I at this point in time, Eric, I just feel like happy whenever I see them again. Like it doesn't really matter even what they're doing. They're literally
Yeah.
just trying to decide where a lamp
Well,
goes in the cargo container, and I'm just like, it's good to be back.
it was funny how they're all kind of like just as knowledgeable about as Darius now about like certain dinosaur sounds. He's just
Yeah. They were trying to play. They were actually trying to play like guess that dino noise, and it was ironic to me, mate, because you wouldn't believe it. About a third time he done it, and he guessed the Parasaurolophus. I found myself trying to join in, and like at the same time,
absolutely.
and I also missed it. I got it after Darius. I was like, God damn.
Although I will say the promotional data of Majungasaurus on the boat,
Hmm.
I feel took away from that scene a little bit.
You think so? I think it spoiled it a little bit ahead of time.
Because you hear the roar and Darius is like, "What is that?"
Yeah,
And then
what's
I
that
was
one?
instantly like, "Oh, it's Majungasaurus. We saw it." Like,
Yeah,
and then I was
yeah,
like,
because
"Oh,
ahead of time.
I shouldn't know
Like
what that is."
imagine,
Like,
yeah, and imagine like well, here's the idea, man. Imagine being like a kid, right, who's never seen or heard of a Majungasaurus before, and they see Darius being confused. All of a sudden, they're like, "This guy, the smart guy about dinosaurs, he's confused. Well, what could be on this boat?" So
yeah.
yeah, no, it's a good way of going. And for everybody listening, this season I actually did not go into watching any trailers or promos or anything. I went in as blind as possibly can be. The only
So
thing I saw ahead of time was that little teaser trailer with
the
on the
Super
boat.
Mimus and
Well, no, actually, I only saw the because like I knew obviously Super Mario was going to have to be in there somewhere from the Stegosaurus little teaser and stuff like that. But the only other one I had seen was the one where they're on the boat, that little like 40-second clip or whatever it was, or 30-second, whatever it was. Yeah, very quick one. So yeah, and everything after that, any trailers, official trailers that came out, nothing. I just stayed away from it until after I
so
watched the
that
season.
scene. So you not knowing that it was Majungasaurus, how did that feel for you?
Well, here's the thing. See, I obviously knew it was Majungasaurus because I saw that teaser. But here's the thing: I managed
Oh,
to get back. I managed to get back the young kids who I used to babysit for the season, and they had no idea what it was. They had no idea because they hadn't seen anything at all. They didn't even know there was a new season out until like I had called them up and said, "Hey, you want to come over?" So yeah, for them, they seem to just imagine it as like just another like carnivorous dinosaur. But what they thought was really interesting was the way it turned out to actually be a cannibal.
oh
Like
yeah,
it eat
no,
like
they
yeah, when it was locked
Majungasaurus
away
was
inside
very
of its
cannibalistic.
yeah, which was very interesting. And they asked me why, and I said to them, it was like, well, from what I remember as a kid, is the fact that Majungasaurus was like native to Madagascar. And Madagascar is essentially just a giant island, so there's not a lot of stuff to eat. So sometimes you got to eat each other sometimes, which was an interesting detail that I saw that they brought over to this season, which was really good.
If I'm not mistaken, Majungasaurus
Mistaken, I
is
like that.
actually one of the very few dinosaurs that actually
Mm.
shows like actual fossil evidence of like being a cannibal.
Ooh. Well, then that's an
Which,
extra bit of detail that I'm glad the show producers brought into that show. Then I'll tell
oh,
you
very
what,
much.
hats off to them.
I prop them for that. Like,
Mm.
the designs may not be where they should be or whatever, but I do
Yeah,
genuinely prop them for having some genuine research done there.
oh for sure,
Absolutely, like
sure.
that.
So, as you can imagine, in the classic style of Jurassic Park, everything starts going haywire once the power gets cut out to some of the containers.
Absolutely, the big
In the rain, and
fire.
it's very yep. Yeah. Now here's the thing. All right, so I guess we got to swing on a little bit here to the characters. So Kenji, I noticed immediately. I was like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Like,
Absolutely.
I get it. I get it. You've lost your girl, you lost your dad, but like, I was like picking up hints of him being like semi-suicidal. Like the way we first see him,
Okay. I am glad I
bro.
wasn't the only
No,
sensitive
like
content
the
for
first
anybody.
time we see him, he's like looking with that cabbage over the edge of the water. You and Yaz sees him outside the container. He just chucks it down, just so like like so haphazardly. And I'm just like, oh no, this
So
man's not in a good place.
at first, I was thinking like one of two things. Either he was being like dumb Kenji again, and he's thinking, oh, maybe we can like track ourselves, and I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Or oh, it's a little bit laggy there. I'll have to pause that one. Oh, there we go. A little bit steady again. We
Hang
back,
on.
baby.
So yeah,
He's
and then him just like, oh, we need to save the egg, jumping right head first into the fire. I was like,
so dangerous, so dangerous. I mean, like, I get it. It is Bumpy's egg. I get that, but also it's like not to be that like a before birth kind of guy, but like Bumpy can always have another egg, bro. We can't have another Kenji, bro. But like, I
like,
understand its significance to him. But even like, I like that in the season, like Yaz and Kenji had a lot more interaction than they had obviously last
oh,
season, and since I
definitely.
believe since season 2, I believe from Camp Cretaceous. So yeah, she could see immediately that something was going on with him, and even until a point it took Darius like 2 or 3 episodes in to sort of have a bit of a talk with him.
I
And
do,
ironically, actually, the one person he ended up opening up to was actually Ben, the one guy who
yeah,
wasn't asking anything. So that's just
yeah,
interesting.
the
Kind of
one
goes to
guy
show you,
that
doesn't it?
like had the devastating news for him.
Oh boy. Oh god. Okay, so we got to hook into that then. So they managed to get their way off this boat with Bumpy's egg rescued into this little lifeboat. And once they taken off to towards land, I thought it was really funny, right? Like they had like the little portable phone charger, and Ben's just like leaning all the way
Trying to
out, trying to
in the like
charge up for like
little shines of light,
yeah, the
just
little.
trying to get it.
I thought that, but every time he did that, he kept dropping the phone, mate. He kept on dropping it, like dangling on the cord. And I'm like, Ben, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Oh, it just made me laugh, mate.
honestly, seeing Ben go from like back from like the wild crazy dude to like obsessed with the phone like Brooklyn, I was like,
Yeah, that was an interesting
this
take.
is
Yeah.
this is a weird turn of events. And then him seeing the video with okay, I this is something I put in my notes.
Mm.
Where did I put this? Okay, Brooklyn's view. Okay, yeah, we do get to see a lot more of Brooklyn's view on what happened there. It was actually
Mm.
the whistle lady. So that was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Whatever her
was
name is.
confirmed. But also, like, is she not famous?
Brooklyn.
Yeah, wait, isn't she supposed to be like some famous person in their universe? Like,
Yeah, 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 definitely. Because
so
well, they all are because they've all survived Nublar and they all are very well known. I mean, the first episode, dude shows up. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you're Darius Bowman! Wow."
so like, how does nobody recognize her? How is nobody like, oh yeah, you're that Brooklyn girl?
Well, that's the thing, because as far as we've seen so far, like she hasn't actually interacted with anybody outside of the main friend group and was it and Ronnie, I think her name is from the DPW. So
Yes.
it's not like so they all know who she is, but like, and if I guess the idea is that like if you're online, that anonymity sort of stuff like that, you're not posting like profile photos of yourself. But that's the thing. I remember, like I said, I remember when
Brooklyn
she went
was
to Daniel.
definitely posting with her
Well,
like
that's the thing.
selfie.
Well, oh look, I reckon she's smart enough to know not to post her own photo on like some kind of quote unquote dark Jurassic site. But here's the thing, right? I'm on your point there, actually, Eric. I would if I was so it shows us a little quick flashback of when she went to see Daniel Kahn, uh, before his demise, and when she said like, "I'm not asking you as a journalist, I'm asking you as a buyer," that is immediately the point where I just do not believe. I'm like, there is no way you would ever try to like suddenly switch on this, and I couldn't believe like that was one thing I thought throughout this season, like because not to get ahead of it too yet because I've got some things to say, but when she meets whoever the broker is a little bit later on down the line,
Oh, we're on the spoiler
I
section. Go ahead
I
and say it,
oh,
man.
oh I'm aware, but I'm building to it. So
I
so
know you want to talk
what
about
I
it so
couldn't
bad.
yeah, oh, I'm getting there, Chief. Don't worry. But the thing is, like, I just for the one thing I could not keep buying was that, like, you're right. This very famous person suddenly is not infiltrating her way into, but like just like gaining the trust of these people who like obviously know about her, but like
I,
she's trying to pass herself off as something she's not, and I'm
so
like,
she joined the what are they called? Dinosaur Liberation Now.
ah, yes, oh god,
What a
yeah, I almost
stupid
forgot about
name.
them.
Okay, but
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
get I get them not knowing her because they're like
True.
dumb frat guys.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And on
But
top of
they
that,
probably
like
just don't care.
I guess you could say that yeah, the haircut and the arm off and stuff like that, it does slightly lend to it. But also, the thing about that is that like I believe so heartedly in my heart of hearts that like had Jurassic Park opened back in the '90s or whatever stuff like that, a group like that would have naturally developed no matter what, because you always get radicalists that are trying to like free animals from zoos
Oh,
and stuff like that
absolutely.
all the time. So we as silly as that part all is. I do believe there is some logic to eventually
Oh, no,
seeing
no,
some
no.
kind of group like that.
Absolutely. There's gonna be some stupid people doing
All right,
whatever they need.
for sure.
I like. Honestly, I'm surprised this isn't an idea that they touched on sooner.
Well, that's what I imagine. I thought maybe you could have even had something like that back in Jurassic World, looking at it retroactively. Like you could have had somebody, people try to let out some animals from one of the parks and stuff like that back in
Although
the
I guess
day.
we
But
kind of did see it in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
yeah, I suppose you're right. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
not as
well,
extreme, but like
not as extreme. They haven't got silly looking 3D printed raptor masks, but
Claire was definitely up to something in that movie.
Well, no, I mean Claire was the only one that was on the dinosaur side. It was everybody else that wanted to bloody leave him to die. So I give her credit for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I guess a shame we need to do that binge rewatch very fast, Eric. So yeah. So
absolutely.
anyway, so then we're moving on to what is it? Episode 4 was it? I believe now. No, that was 4.
They
Yeah.
come across the village. They meet the
Yeah,
new
they come
girl,
across
and
this. They come across. So they land in West Africa. So Nairobi. Where was it, Eric? Do you remember where it was? Senegal, I
mm,
believe.
you probably.
Probably. So anyway, so they land in Africa, and they found people who live there. Obviously, have a very unique way of now coming to understand dinosaurs. But it turns out, obviously, it's not everybody. It's just like this small clustered family, which they use 3 stegosauruses that locally, have clustered around this farm to keep themselves safe from a larger predator, which I think is very what's the word? It's like very I don't know, but like it's a very nice thing to see that they don't just see them always as
The
like
opposite of
monsters still.
parasitic, whatever that word is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Symbiotic.
Symbiotic.
Yeah,
Symbiotic.
symbiotic relationship. How did
It
we not
is
know that?
Senegal.
Venom movie out. Yeah. So I like all of that. I like the like. So here's the thing. I know some people that aren't a fan of this new younger character, the 13-year-old. What was her name again? Yeah, I know.
I
Goes to show
honestly
you.
don't remember.
Unfortunately, I'm so sorry to the actress who played her, but yeah, it's just she's just kind of was like a bit of a tour guide, which is all well and good, but yeah, no, it's a fun little setup for them there, and they spend a few episodes there. But then when you jump back to Brooklyn, then we
I do not think it's yet.
finally hook in come episode 5, and we discover who the broker is. Now, to many people, obviously, it's not a massive
National.
surprise. It shouldn't have to be that. If you've watched Jurassic World Dominion and you keep hearing about the broker and the stuff like that, you
Dude,
know it's probably who it's
Go,
going to end up being.
go ahead and say it, man. Just go ahead and
But
say it.
for me, when mate, Eric, all right, look, Chief,
I
when the
know you were
reveal come,
happy. Okay,
bro.
honestly, figuring out where Red was, that honestly made me. We
Oh,
got
look, it was
some
it was
cool
interesting.
reveals.
Bro, it was so interesting. We got some things to talk about with Red as well in this, but mate, when the reveal came that it was none other than McQueen herself, Soyuna Santos, bro, I lost my mind, bro. I screamed so loud, Eric, that I am shocked that the neighbors did not call the police on me for bloody murder, bro. Like I was over the moon, and I was like, because obviously I had suspected ever since the very first teaser trailer of the series when we first saw what was it? It was Panthera and Tiger. Like I was like, oh my god, we're gonna have Soyana show up in the show at some point. Now here's the thing though, I was not expecting them to kind of reveal it this soon, like within the middle of season 2, which unfortunately kind of lends me
Honestly,
to think that this show may or may not sort of like run as long as Camp Cretaceous did with 5 seasons.
I okay. If I'm being honest,
Mm.
it obviously will because money.
I hope it does, bro. I will never say no to more of this. I'm loving this stuff,
Absolutely.
bro. But but here's the thing. I'm talking like as in like terms of like the mystery and like of like, well, is Brooklyn alive or what happened to her? We were trying to figure that out. That's all
Like
been
they
resolved.
kind of took a lot of that away.
Well, that's it. And then on top of that, like the characters sort of now like trying to follow the tracks of where Brooklyn was going and figure out who the broker is and who was trying to kill him. They know that now. So they've
Yeah,
actually kind of answered almost everything, which is why I said that the ending for me, it didn't. I've seen people say it kind of fell flat or was a bit anticlimactic. For me, I was just more like perplexed than anything because I was like, oh no, well, what on earth can they physically do now? And thankfully, with a little bit of time on my side, I've been able to come up with a bit of like the one theory I think that I've been able to get out of this season because season one come around and I had so many ideas and so many questions and so much of that. This one, it kind of gave me most of my most of my steak with my vegetables, man. Like they sort of answered most of everything I sort of had. But that said, oh my gosh, man! Like thankfully, Eric, the amount of positive reception I've seen around Sona in the show has just absolutely melted
absolutely.
my heart, bro. I've just been so happy to see people be like, "Oh my god, this show made her into such an interesting, more villain than the other one did." And for me, mate, the super fan, it was interesting because, like, I've done quite a bit of like
And
research
the
into the
thing about
character
her,
myself
like,
and had my own thoughts. Mm.
what was it? She was buying like airports and things.
Yeah, she has like her own like private jet, private hangar, and everything like that. And she's I don't know if I ever said like what it is she does, but I assume she has to be some kind of like travel entrepreneur or something like that.
You
It's
got,
something to mask all of the stuff
that
because
might
obviously
come
she's
into
getting yeah, and she obviously is able to like rent out shipping crates and cargoes and stuff like that to move these animals. But the thing that got me was that like we got to learn so much more intricately
about her.
within like about her, yeah, which is interesting because one of the first things you see, mate, and I know you saw it as well, mate, on a shelf there as Brooklyn was walking in, bro. She managed to acquire like canonically the friggin' the raptor resignated chamber from Jurassic Park 3, bro. She has that. It's like
Yup.
she has the actual thing from Jurassic Park 3, and she
I
has it on
Okay.
display in her room.
I love the whistle versus like laser. Like they mentioned that. Like they
Mm.
were like, and I think that Raptor resignation chamber was like kind of a reference
That not only
towards.
reference, I reckon, you know what I reckon? I reckon she bought that originally from like whoever still had it, maybe even Billy still had it, or Alan, and she ended up buying that and then used that as like the very first way of trying to get like these young Atrociraptors to try to listen to her. And when it didn't work, because obviously Atrociraptors don't make the same noises as Velociraptors, even though the show might tell you different. Like she saw that as just like a bit of a trinket. She put it up on the shelf. Whereas then she got the handler lady to start using like a normal whistle, and then she ended up using it's like a progression thing, bro. That's what I reckon.
Honestly, she could have used it, and they could have like used sounds, and they're like, all right, well, this means this, and this means that, and then they kind of resort to just
Yeah,
normal whistles.
like a first like effort in order to get them to listen to him and
But,
communicate. I just think that's
but
a very
I
fun
love
little
the like
detail in there.
laser thing where she's like, why would I ever blow a whistle?
Yeah. So it's
Like,
so much more
over laser.
effective than a whistle. I was like, yes, I love
And
it.
okay, I kind of started freaking out there because I was like, holy crap, does she know about the Indoraptor? Because
Yeah, that's
they
what
were
that
using
makes
the
you think,
laser
doesn't
in
it?
that.
That's it. Doesn't makes you think, doesn't it? Makes you wonder if she was there or not. But so the thing is, though,
I would guess
she's got all of
no.
that. I love that Brooklyn tried to play it off as if like she wouldn't have recognized her immediately. I enjoy that little like discussion because if you notice something, mate, so that little laser gold pointer on her wrist, that was actually the actress Ditchin Lackman's idea to have that included as a character thing from Dominion. That was her suggestion, and I love when that was brought up and that her family was talked about very briefly in this, her mother's side anyway. So yeah, and because the thing is, like, I myself, thankfully, that didn't come as too much of a surprise to me because I had found a bit of an obscure interview with her at the time where she goes into speaking a little bit about that. But what made me so glad, man, was that she obviously has given the opportunity to come back and she's able to incorporate most of the stuff that she wasn't able to do so
Absolutely.
in Dominion because we only got to see her in Dominion for you can imagine not even really around 10 minutes of
It
proper
was kind of
time.
like one
It
scene
was
segment,
oh
and
look,
she's just
bro,
kind
it
of
was
gone.
exciting. Bro, it was enough to captivate me, as you know. But like,
Absolutely, like
obviously you want so much more though, and that's what this show thankfully has given me. Because I was worried, mate. I was honestly worried, Eric, that we were only going to get it for that episode 5. I didn't
if
think
I'm
Brooklyn was
being
going to do what she's
honest,
done.
if I'm
Mm,
being honest, I feel like if Jurassic Park or
mm.
Jurassic World was the new one, Revival,
Yeah,
if they
rebirth.
waited or Rebirth, sorry, if
It's all
Jurassic
good.
World Rebirth was and they waited and released Dominion then,
Mm.
I feel like it would hit harder now because we know about Santos.
Oh, for sure, and like, because that's what it is. This is essentially doing the Star Wars prequel to this character. Like we've
Oh,
seen her already.
absolutely.
We've seen her ultimate, quote unquote, like temporary end, I guess. When she's gone to jail, apparently, and like, but now we get to see a little bit more of her and how her organization kind of got set up, which. Whoa, we'll get into in a minute. So what happens from there is that I was not expecting, obviously. So Brooklyn. So it turns out, Soyona is she has a bit of a passion for art, which I was like, that's the one thing I never considered for her. It makes perfect sense. So once she gets
The
Brooklyn is
scene where
proposed
she's
for a
like,
bit.
"Oh, I think
Yes,
something's missing," and then you just see Red
yes.
in the
Oh
background.
boy, I love
Oh,
it. She's
that
she's a
was
little bit probing. She's just probing for information, looking for cracks, mate. And then when she just says, she's like, "Oh, this painting's missing something," and just release it, and you just hear it coming, bro. And you're like, "That's insane! You just have this thing just
that was
living in your
so
apartment."
cool. I
Oh
love
my
that.
god. And what I love so much then is that, so obviously Brooklyn, bro, the amount of sheer terror that you must be reliving when you feel that, like that thing's hot breath on your arm, bro, like right next down to you. Oh mate, whoo. So anyway,
Edward
wonderful. So anyway, so it's
arm.
Red we were speaking of course, everybody. So Red, the fourth Atrociraptor, where we were questioning, everyone was questioning, where is
Where's
Red?
the
Why is Red
Santos
not here?
the whole time?
Exactly. Now here's something interesting that I paused to ask you, mate. Why Red, the one that's there behind, and not Ghost, right? Because obviously we know Ghost is like the most marketable one. He's the one made from the Jurassic Park 3 Raptor DNA and stuff like that. And he's sorry, she or he, I don't remember, bro. I can't remember if they were bred to be male or female. But anyway,
The
which is
easy
interesting because I
answer
saw.
is
Yeah, sorry, I
because
was going to say
Red.
because I saw Swerve made an interesting video saying that was one of the counterpoints that they'd done, that Sayona specifically calls Red a she in this, where apparently when they were made in Dominion, they were marketed as old boy dinosaurs because they're supposed to be the opposite of the Raptor Squad. I don't mind. I don't really care. I
It
just
doesn't.
like, oh my
It
god,
really
there's Red.
doesn't
I found
matter.
him.
It's just some
Yeah.
canonical whatever. But the easy
Oh, for
answer
sure.
for Red is because it's like blue, where it's a.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. That is a very simple answer.
I
Of
would
like, well,
honestly, I would have preferred that they focused on Ghost. Ghost, in my opinion, is
hmm.
way cooler than Red.
Oh,
But
well, he looks the most menacing, doesn't he?
no,
He's got
absolutely.
got the red eye, the white skin.
Honestly, having that
Mm,
scene with Ghost
mm,
instead of like actually like making clicks or whatever, it's just silent would have been way
mm.
cooler.
Well, we'll see. We'll get to that part in a second, my boyo. So here's the thing. I did not expect Brooklyn to make the move that she done. So the very next episode, as the campers are still traveling up the river, and we see a beautiful scene of brachiosauruses and everything like that, which was very gorgeous, by the way. I
Absolutely.
adored all of that. I loved all that sort of stuff because then again, you can imagine the whole season was kind of like an homage to the Jungle River ride from the original novel that they weren't ever able to put into the films, which I think is really cool. But one of the things I enjoyed though was that, so when Brooklyn comes back, she actually, I thought she was burning everything and she's going to go on the run, and I was worried that was all the Santos we were going to get for the season, mate. Bro, she comes back
She
there
was in
with a
it for the rest of it.
surprising amount of bloody grit and determination, bro. She like stole the little like gold bracelet thing ahead of time and stuff like that, and then she turns red on Santos. I was like, oh my goodness me, I
Honestly,
don't know
I
how to
thought some
feel, bro.
crazy. Honestly, I was thinking some crazy crap was about to happen, and it was gonna. And Red was gonna smell Santos, and then just turn towards Brooklyn, and she was gonna like
Yeah, as if like
start
that
freaking
was, yeah,
out.
because you'd think, yeah, right, because you would think, mate, logically, like that Santos would have some kind of built-in deterrent for that exact thing happening, someone getting the laser off of her. But I guess, no, I guess not. I suppose not. But hey, can't do everything, I
You
suppose.
know,
Anyway,
since we're on the topic of the jungle, I do want to bring a few
oh
things up.
yes, have at it.
All right, so just gonna go through some of these. Just
Sure.
Suchomimus versus Hippo, that real world, uh, one of the greatest
Yeah, the first real-world
dinosaurs.
animal interaction aside from the lion and T-Rex, but
Yeah,
that's.
yeah, yeah. The lions too. That was another thing. Like
Oh yeah.
they made a reference to the lions, but they weren't the ones that came out. So I was like, is there some like deleted scene somewhere of like a Majungasaurus or a Suchomimus just ripping apart a pack of lions?
Could be. Could very
And
well
if
be
so,
because.
release that, please. I would love to see that. I
It's so funny because one of the kids I was watching. this season with years ago. Unfortunately, I had traumatized playing Jurassic Park, the game, like the Telltale series game back in 2011, and that game obviously is very infamous for having the species Troodon pectinodon in it with its big white glowing eyes. And when she saw
Mhm.
those lion's eyes in the jungle, she started freaking out, man. I was like, oh
That's
no no no,
I
Donna, it's
thought they
not
would have
that.
brought Troodon into it, but I
Well, you
also
think
was
they
like,
could, but
okay, we got like Red. They're not gonna do that. That would just be
no. And
camouflage.
on top of
Like,
that, like as we know, as being the super lore nerd fans that we are, like, Eric, is that we know that they InGen lost the original samples of
absolutely.
Troodon pectinodon back in the 90s, which is very unfortunate. But
And another thing I would like to bring up is the Suchomimus versus Majungasaurus fight. Look,
mm,
I'm the Prehistoric Wildlife channel or Prehistoric Life Podcast channel. I gotta talk about the
yeah,
actual dinosaur facts here.
go for it.
Suchomimus towers over Majungasaurus on an insane level.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because yeah, I'm not gonna lie with you. I cannot lie with you, man, Eric. Like again, here's the thing. I love the hippo. Yeah, scrapping with the
The
Spikey
hippo,
and then
okay,
but then the very
honestly,
next episode. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
weirdly
Go on.
enough, the hippo makes more sense than Majungasaurus.
Oh, 100%, because it's a native
They get
animal. It's all stuff like that.
okay, so I don't know if you know how deep you know like
Mm,
evolution of Abelisaurs, but they do not have strong bites. They are not a bite you,
no.
take you to the ground, tackle you. They are what are called skin feeders, skin grazers. So they'll run
Mm,
up and rip chunks of skin off of like sauropods or other large dinosaurs
mm,
and pray that it bleeds out, or that's how they feed. Like,
mm,
not only does Suchomimus like coming in at 31 to 36 feet long, while Majungasaurus is only 18 to 23.
mm,
Uh, Suchomimus is 2.8 to 4.2 short tons.
mm.
Majungasaurus is barely capping in at 1 ton.
That's it.
Suchomimus should not have been pushed around by Majungasaurus. It would have just bit into it and then just tossed it around like a rag doll.
Oh, my chief, they giving them that proper Jurassic Park mosquito frog DNA treatment, bro. Just completely different from the real
And
life
I
animal,
get
man.
it. I love that they made Majungasaurus like a horrifying thing, like it was just lurking in the shadow. But like
Mm,
Suchomimus was definitely more. It honestly reminded me of the like novel Tyrannosaurus, where it was just chasing them, and I feel
mm,
having that Suchomimus following them up the river, so it would have made more sense. We could
mm,
have gotten Suchomimus versus Baryonyx. You could have had Baryonyx kill Suchomimus, and that
mm.
probably would have made ever so slightly more sense.
Yeah, because here's the thing. My problem is that, so like again, the whole scene where, so obviously they arrive at this little station there, and there's a hippopotamus and a Suchomimus previous attack that has driven all the people away, and Yaz unfortunately gets left behind during the skirmish, which I thought was very interesting, because they usually always get out, like they're like, oh, I'll
Oh
go with
yeah,
the
no,
guys or whatever.
absolutely.
They just sort of always sort of know what to do, and this time it just didn't work out. So yes, and dude, I want to give massive props to Yasmina. Eh? The girl who has been traumatized by these animals, bro,
She's
was
now the
literally left.
therapist and the one staying behind the
Bro, she was literally left in the most like traumatizing, isolated scenario you could possibly give
The
her.
Superman is literally picking the canoe up and dropping it off her. I was like,
Oh, bro, the dimorphodons in the trees, bro, just all this shit, man. I mean, for me, like, it's just a sense of like, dude, I'm stuck in a foreign country, up a river with deadly predators all around, no help, no way
the
to get anything
the
out.
land's not
What the hell
safe
am I
and
supposed
the
to do?
water's not safe. The
Absolutely. So what the
sky
hell
is
do I
not safe.
do?
You were just surrounded 24/7
Yeah.
by like death
So
and chaos. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I give the show the credit for what they've done with all of that. And so yeah, and but then and I love that they give a little reference to that where she just jumps on the plank of wood and tries to paddle away, and she's like, oh, got away there, and so all of a sudden you can imagine, like, I was like, you know, it's a semi-aquatic. You know, it's a semi-aquatic. Yeah, it's coming after you. You can swim, and then like, but of course she doesn't know that because she's not the super dino nerd and stuff like that, which is all well and fair and good. But yeah, no, mate, it was very well seen. But then for me, mate, and this sounds not, I'm trying not to make it sound negative, but yeah, as soon as they rescue her and everything like that, and then the Majungasaurus comes out and the Suchomimus are battling, I was like, wait a minute, didn't we just do this? Like, didn't we just had an awesome fight with the Suchomimus and a hippo? Why are we doing another dinosaur fight straight away?
I feel
I'm
like
like,
the Suka. Okay, I feel like they had to kill off the Suchomimus
yeah,
because it
otherwise it
would
would
have
have
just
followed
kept
him. It
following them
makes
up the
sense.
river.
Exactly. Like
And
it makes sense. But
like But like they could have also like very easily just had like the Majungasaur distracted enough to have them get away, because the Majungasaurs didn't follow them into the water, which is fair enough. I
Fair
mean,
enough.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
No, not everything
It
likes
could have
swimming.
definitely swum in real life, but semantics. But
Yeah.
um, and I guess like okay, so they have to have it so like Majungasaurus is like staring at them, and they have to leave because Suchomimus would have easily killed Majungasaurus. This is just like.
Mm.
So my theory is that maybe it's not a full grown Suchomimus.
My other working theory was that it had just eaten like a half of a hippo, bro. So that man was sluggish. He was full, bro. And
That
that first thing I thought was like when it noticed Yaz is in the bushes, I was like, "Is no way you were still hungry. You were just being like predator for the sake of predator now. Like you just have an entire hippo
they
there,
were
bro. You are
definitely
not hungry."
putting the fear back into dinosaurs, and I do appreciate that.
Oh, they did, and I enjoyed that. I did
Oh,
enjoy that because like yeah, and they didn't just make them all to be like mindless
they've
monsters.
made
Because like even
raptors
later
scary
on,
again, man.
yeah, like even later on that episode, bro, before the lion show up, bro, like the Dimorphodon just swims down and they think they're going to attack them, but they just swing down and bloody grab a fish out and just sit on the bank. And I was like, oh, that's cool, just regular behavior,
And then the like lion tackling.
bro. The
We didn't
lions,
actually
and
see
then
the lion, did we?
no, we don't because thankfully save on a little bit of budget cost. But on top of that, like you get the picture. You know what a lion looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and then I do like this the like not symbolism, but I like the signage later on of like when that lion's gonna hunt down Yaz, and then all of a sudden you see these bigger eyes behind it, like and it's the Majungasaurus. Like I enjoyed
yeah,
all of that. That's really good. It was very good visual displays in the show, which I
if
quite
I'm
enjoyed.
being honest, it should have been. Maybe they should have scrapped the cannibalism. I do appreciate it, but maybe like another thing had another
Mm,
Majungasaurus, so that way it could have like two Majungasaurus versus uh Suchomimus, and they just scare the Suchomimus off, and it runs off into the jungle or something. Because
mm,
I don't know, just infant Suchomimus, whatever. Just I get
mm.
why they had to kill it off for story purposes,
Oh, for sure, I understand as well.
but
But you're absolutely right as well, because like I can tell you're very you're personally attacked and offended by this. The fact that the
I love
Suchomimus got
Suchomimus, man. Suchomimus is
yeah,
amazing. So having it like
damn.
in a Bellasaur where it's like, oh, this thing doesn't even break bone with its bite, versus like Suchomimus,
Mm.
which is like a just crocodile where it'll snap your arm off with a single. It's like,
Well, that's what I was thinking when I first saw it at the farm, and I was like, man, can you imagine that, bro? A crocodile with the body of a dinosaur, bro? That'd be terrifying.
for story purposes.
For
That's
sure,
what it is. It's plot
for
for
sure.
plot purposes.
And then speaking of story purposes, so they arrive at the the farm, little chicken farm, and we're shocked because there's nothing here. We can't believe what's going on. And so what we find out throughout a little interaction with some
The
Monolithosauruses and stuff like
Monolophosaurus were
that is
brought
that
back too.
yeah, interesting that the Monolithosauruses were left there as like guard dogs. That's interesting,
I kind
but
of like that.
yeah, yeah, why not? You know. And so we end up finding out that this is actually a secret underground base of some sort of a lair. Right now, Eric, man, did you have any ideas what this place could have potentially have been back in the day? Because there is no way that Santos ended up creating this area, like this place. Like
I
that's
don't.
so much concrete and everything under there. You know what it
There's.
reminded me of? It actually reminded me of like a missile silo, like a debunked Cold War missile silo.
I could
But I was
see
thinking,
that, except for
yeah, but
that
that was
one
like, but they
that
don't have any of those in Africa, as
intersection.
far as I know.
One of those center section would have been too shallow for like a missile, though.
Mm. Oh, for sure, for sure. And
But,
who
I
knows?
mean,
Maybe that ground kept on opening up and went down further. But that's the thing. I was like, well, what else could it have really been? I guess, but who knows?
maybe she did make it. Who knows? Maybe it's
I
just some
can't
like
imagine because everything in there was old, bro. Like it was all old. It was like that, like because you see, bro. It was like it had like one of those click vocal things between one-way glass and stuff. It looked like some kind of like like military camp or something, bro.
yeah,
Like it looked like something. I don't know. It's interesting. If ever we get a chance to ask one of the show directors one time, we should ask him that. But like, who knows? Maybe other people have
definitely.
figured it out faster than us. But yeah.
Also,
Anyway, so
Google
anyway, this
people.
whole lab underground area, it's obviously harking back to some of, like secrets of Isla Sorna type stuff. Like the abandoned laboratories. Until we find out that, yeah, no, it's not abandoned actually. There's a Trociraptor here, big surprise, and it kills Captain Sullivan straight off from the boat from the first
Oh
episode.
yeah.
Bro, it ripped that
Oh,
boy up
oh
to the
wait. It's
thing.
apparently I'm finding out the underground base in Jurassic World Chaos Theory is a smuggling ring. So
Ah, interesting.
so the whole joke about me making underground gladiator arenas is literal now.
There you go. You feel justified. Love it.
Absolutely.
He's feeling the buzz, ladies and gents. So yeah, so anyway, so this well now as we call it a smuggler's ring. So they make their way. They have to hide under the red little bend inside the pit
Mhm.
inside the ground, and it's here we get one of the most unique, I want to say, Eric,
Oh,
reveals
absolutely.
of an
One of the
entire thing.
it's an albino blinded from birth, I guess is
Linguistic.
technical
They
term.
called it linguistic.
Linguistic baryonyx. So it has no eyes, skin has grown over its eyes, it does not have DNA to have eyes, and it has hyper acoustic
Hyper fixed acoustic abilities where it
ability
can now hear. It can
way
hear
better.
like as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, we're doing like Daredevil in like
Yeah,
in
that
Jurassic
was
Park."
and now it's dead, but semantics.
True that, but I don't know if you want that thing living outside those but walls. So yeah, but so what was your thoughts when you first saw this thing?
Honestly, I was a little horrified.
Mm.
I was like, "What is this
Yeah,
thing?" Like,
what is
obviously,
happening here?
I know this might be dark, but I kind of thought they brought the new girl in just to kill her off to that thing, and I was like,
Yeah, they could have done.
"Is
They
that
very
why
well could
she's
have done. That would
here
have been
right
a
now?"
very effective thing. Yeah, that would have been a very effective moment. But they build her up too much character. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
or Gabba the Gallimimus. I was like, "Are they going to kill that? Are they
Yeah,
just
they
going to
could
like
have killed
kill
Gabba.
them off?"
By the way, Gabba was scrapping later on in that episode where he started
Oh,
kicking at Red.
absolutely.
I was like, oh, that's nice to see. Gallimimus having a bit of a kickback there. So
Well, then
yeah,
they're
so
not just
this linguistic
play.
baryonyx, I can't lie, man. So obviously this is sort of maybe jumping a little bit further ahead. So they managed to survive in the pit just long enough for someone mysterious to drop down a container, and they all get in there. And bro, when Darius fell off, I was like, oh no, okay, that's
Oh,
probably it then, bro. Ain't no way,
it
ain't
was a
no
little
way.
goofy of a concept.
Well, they're in a death pit with this thing. But then the next episode comes in. I think episode 9, I believe it is, was my favorite of the entire series, actually, the entire season so far. Because this is where we get all the perspective from Brooklyn and Siona's perspective, and she's going on about everything. Now, okay, so so they get there, and obviously they get there like about a minute or so before the campers actually manage to get there themselves. And as they're going down, we meet this man named Dr. Saar. Now, this fella, you can call me a racist all you want, but I was terrified that this was going to turn out to be the young new girl's father. That's just why they couldn't get in touch with him because he was off doing
Oh,
like this sort of stuff. And I was like, thank
I
God that
don't think
turned out
that has
not to be
anything
the
to do with
case.
race. I thought that would have just been an interesting plot point.
Oh, it would have been interesting, yeah. But
Hon-
I was just kind of very
Honestly, it
glad she
kind of
didn't.
would have been more interesting than just like the random, just
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
other guy
no.
that's just like, "I'm like
To be
Darius,
fair,
I'm
that
like
guy was great.
Darius
That
guy."
guy
It's
was
like,
great
really,
when he showed
man?
up at the end there. He had all the good dad jokes, bro. I was
That
like, oh, he's fun.
okay, genuinely, that would have been like, she sees him and she's just like, "Dad," and it's like, "Oh crap!"
Like, oh
Now,
no. Hello.
that
Hello,
would have been
daughter.
intense.
All right, so we got to talk about this character for a bit. So this man's obviously been an employee of Siona for quite a little while now, and to the point where he obviously runs this entire facility, right? Now, my thing is,
When she was
this man
questioning
is
him,
clearly insane. Like, not even in like the crazy doc kind of way. Like, I'm
like,
like,
she
what
was
would you mean?
she
Okay,
was
so yeah, you
questioning him.
go
She's
first.
like, "Well, what was it like, containment crew or whatever?"
Yeah, she said, "Where's my operations crew?" You know?
She's like, "Where's my operations crew?" And he's like, "Well, I volunteered them to my subject." And it's like, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
"What do you
It's like
mean?
you
Like, are they
fed
taking
them to
drugs?"
your dinosaur, you know?
She,
It's like they did
he
not
was
come out to
just
steal
dropping
from
them
my
in there and
future.
letting them be eaten. I was like,
Bro, absolutely. I was like, bro, this guy is mental. And not only that, but here's the thing, right? I was completely like, I said the same thing as Brooklyn when she said it, where she's like, why would you? He's talking about, sorry for everybody still listening. He ends up showing off. Oh, sorry, just before that, let's just get this. So Siona catches up with him in the laboratory, which, by the way, we see floating in the background. Now you see that was a Lystrosaurus, bro.
"Oh
They
yeah,
had a Lystrosaurus
absolutely."
floating in the back. I was like, oh, wonderful. And someone else pointed out they thought it was a Spinoraptor in the back as well. And I was like, I don't know about that. I
Nah,
think it could have just been an Ouranosaurus, because we see Ouranosaurus in the concept art from
it,
the season.
it could have literally been another Spinosaurus for all we know. Like,
Oh, could have been, could have been. Yeah, because then the thing is, I still stated my fact that I still believe that from what my limited, well, I don't say limited, so more like in-depth character knowledge of this character means is that she's not interested in making hybrid animals. But then again, after hearing her say what she said about this linguistic baryonyx, about a dinosaur with,
can you replicate?
with heightened senses could have various military purposes. Who knows? Maybe she would make hybrids if it satisfied that market. I don't know. I can't rule it
I
out now
really don't
anymore,
know.
but we'll see. But anyway, so the idea is this fella has made this baryonyx with the idea of like changing its embryonic stage, changing its DNA at the embryonic stage, right, to eliminate its eyes. And as soon as Brooklyn said, "Why though?" Like he doesn't actually give like an explanation. Like obviously he's just experimenting, he's just fucking around and finding out. But like
Yeah.
I'm like, but why would you need that though? This is the same. Unfortunately, this is where it kind of falls for me a little bit here, Eric. Is that like it's the same problem I had with the Indoraptors? Like, but why would you make something like that? Like, what
The
would be the
Interrupter makes more sense because they're just like, we're making a super weapon. This thing was just
But
kind of very,
yeah, well, but it's even more than that, though, isn't it? Though it's because it's like, well, the Indoraptor, it's silly for me because it's like you have to point a laser at someone and then click the button, right? But if you're already pointing a laser, just shoot a gun.
Yeah,
It's always
he's
been
like
the argument,
points
right?
the gun, then turns the
Exactly.
laser on. It's like I have the gun point at you. Why don't I just shoot you?
Exactly. Siona's thing, it herself makes weirdly a little bit more sense. It's because it's like it's a compact laser that flips into like a jewelry bit. She doesn't have to carry a gun on her, so if she's ever arrested, she doesn't have a gun. She doesn't get like charged with gun ownership or whatever. So
Yeah.
that makes more sense to me, even though it's still silly to a degree.
Oh
But
no,
then this
I
thing,
feel like there
yeah,
might be some like genuine connection there from that,
yeah,
and like she's
and
like learned about this. And she's like, why would I want a gun when I can just boop done? Like
exactly, like it's so much cleaner to not use it. But here's the thing, right? It just gets me wondering, mate. I'm like, but why would you create something like that that is so obviously not able to really live a life, or it can't really, because what is the military in all honesty going to use an animal like that for? I would honestly challenge people to listen to. Like you say Black Ops
honestly,
missions where they cut out lights and stuff, but it's like
I
but
could
it's
think
like
like the only thing
I
I
don't
could think
know.
of is like that. Like okay, this thing doesn't have a life, so they just
Yeah.
drop it on a base and
See how many
like
it
in
takes
this,
out, I
like
guess.
they just shut the lights off. They just shove it in somewhere, and it just kills everything. And
Yeah,
they
I
can't
have
do
to
it.
imagine, mate. I have to imagine, Eric, that this is just more of like a proof of concept thing for this Dr. SARS fella, because it's like I don't know, like
I
because
don't think
obviously
he's
we
dead.
see no, I don't know, and so
No,
anyway,
he's
so
dead.
he
Never
gets
mind.
well, yeah, but he gets so anyway, Siona and him have a bit of a dispute, and he ends up falling into the pit, right? And he almost brings it down
Yeah,
with her, and I was like, how dare you? How dare you? And Brooklyn, I love that, like Brooklyn obviously saved her and made sure she doesn't fall down, and that to me was the moment I was like, yeah, nah, I could probably trust her. Then after that, she manages to save my life. If she didn't need to, she could have
yeah.
just let her fall, but she didn't, which I think is very interesting. By the way, we haven't even spoken about the fact that Brooklyn's plan, ladies and gents, is the fact that she's trying to gather as much data and stuff on
She's
Siona's
trying to
operations as she
gain
can.
Santos's trust so that she can
Yeah, which to me,
turn her
it's
in.
just, yeah, it's just to me, it's still like I'm like, but Santos, but why? You've been putting that hit on this girl. You know who she is, and like, why would you do that? Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's just still me. But anyway, so he
We
ends up
haven't
getting
even
dropped
gotten
in
to
the
my
pit,
favorite
and
part yet.
we see that he's able to control this thing with like the click of his
He's
fingers,
like snapping.
and yeah, which I think is interesting.
There,
And
it's very. Yeah, I feel like it's very much okay. So if I had to guess, it's more of a like you said, proof of concept. Like okay, he's tinkering with it. Maybe they can change like the auditory like
mm,
development and make something more responsive to like whistles or something. Because they
yeah,
have the other
perhaps.
chalk raptors like that.
Because it just makes me think, man. Like again, like you said, the Interrupter makes sense. It can see thermal vision. That makes sense. Like it can do all this other stuff. That sort of makes sense. But again, it's the end of the day. It's an animal that you're training to go after people. Like you get enough of that with dogs, and like dogs is like
Yeah,
well enough because the dogs at least have that sense of loyalty built into them. Whereas the other ones, as Sienna says in Dominion, she's like you can't, engineer loyalty. You have to nurture it. Which I mean, like who's
yeah.
gonna nurture? Who's gonna nurture a bloody 13 bloody foot long bloody baryonyx with no eyes, bro? Like, yeah, all right, yeah, but yeah, no, but you're a bit
I'll
wild, aren't you?
volunteer. Just kidding.
So anyway, so last episode rolls around. So here's the thing: we haven't even spoken about Brooklyn's interactions with the campus so far.
Yeah,
So,
she
so
runs into
starting with Ben,
Ben in like
starting with
an I
Ben
guess
from episode 5.
interrogation room.
Now, here's the thing. Here's what. Okay, so here's the thing. I had some interesting thoughts on how it started their interaction. So Ben just sort of obviously. So Ben finds out she's alive through looking at
Like
a
at the
recent video.
video, I still
Now
don't.
that's
That was a
not the
little
biggest.
forced.
Yeah, well, yeah. Not only that, but his thing. Like everybody else in that video is wearing masks. Why was Brooklyn not wearing a mask?
She
Why?
was not wearing a mask. She's probably the most famous person in that video, and then
Exactly.
she's just like
Exactly.
chilling out in the corner.
She's just watching in the corner. And like to be fair, who's gonna always pause every video of every frame and scroll in the background? I get it. But
Okay,
also it's
but
like for
if
me,
you're like basically like terrorists.
Yeah, you're supposed to be
Somebody
dead.
would be
Exactly,
like,
you're
the
supposed to be
cops would
dead
be
to
like,
everybody.
we know
I don't
that
know
guy.
why you're not wearing a mask. Yeah, and it was the same thing like when she was like rescuing those operator workers or something like that. I'm like, girl, have your mask on. We know who you are. You're the only female here. Put it back
Well,
on.
it's simply just because, like, okay, they need her face.
I guess, yeah, I suppose.
Just
Anyway, so all of that sort of transpires, and so then Ben just sort of sends her a text message just on this website. Like the first, like this has been such a significant moment in all of their lives. They feel like they've lost one of their own, and then obviously,
yeah,
yes, Ben discovers she's alive, and then before run. Okay, here's where the problems start. Before just running to the other campers and saying like, "Oh my God, look at like obviously the phone died." But I
yeah.
get why he did because he's like, well, I don't want to set us on a path that we didn't think if I just
And
store, I don't want to give
she
people
was
a
kind
false
of
hope.
like, don't tell anyone, nobody else can know, blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah.
but again, but why?
Well, because of Santos. I mean,
I
he-
get that, but it's like, but why can't her mates know she's around though? Because there's so much of this like not forced, lie and tension stuff like this. Is because it's like obviously Ben starts freaking out throughout the season as he's on the phone all the time. He's trying to get in touch with her and all of this stuff, and to the point where the phone gets swallowed by the hippo, and like Kenji almost like puts his hand inside the hippo's mouth. I couldn't believe that. I was like, bro, that's dangerous as. This thing's crushed watermelons like it's nothing. Anyway, so but then like he's keeping a secret throughout the whole season, and like you think that yeah you would tell them that she's alive, and yes I understand that they would try to then go after her, but again I don't know. I thought like why would you not just like let them know, because this is obviously just going to be like a time bomb. It's just going to burn up inside you until it
yeah,
explodes. So I don't know. That choice to me was interesting because again it was such a significant part of the show that she was dead to
plot for
them and that
plot
she
purposes.
didn't know
I
they were
feel
there.
like season
I
3 is
guess
gonna
I
have
don't know.
way more go on. This
Oh,
definitely
look.
feels like it was leading to
Well, the
something
reason
deep.
season one feels like it has more going on, mate, is because not only are we not just on like a single area up a river, but we're also like got two different perspectives. They split up in episode 4 of season one. Like Darius stays with Kenji, and then they go off and investigate one side of
Yeah,
things, and then Sammy and them go grab Yaz. So like you're getting different parts of the country happening at different points. So it's like feels like two different consecutive parts of the stories going on until episode 9, where they all get back together. So that to me, it makes me wonder, mate. It just I don't know. It makes me wonder. Like I'm loving everything I'm still seeing, but it's like, what do they go now? So we get towards the end of the season with obviously then Ben gets bumps into Brooklyn, and they have the conversation about what happened and why aren't you alive and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, Kenji's obviously as mad as he deserves to be. And yeah, but just everybody, bro. I don't know. It's just their reunion and stuff. It felt, what's the word I'm looking for, mate? It felt,
for
no, not for. It felt like not even anticlimactic. It felt,
no, it was anticlimactic. No, it
I
just
guess it just is. I was just like, well, yeah, because you guys
Ben,
thought she was gone.
honestly, I felt like he didn't like Kenji 100% reacted how I thought he would have reacted.
Yeah, right.
Ben, he was just like, "Oh, you're
Yeah.
alive."
Well,
Like
it wasn't even that. Like he was panicking, sure, but it's like, but my G, it's like tell somebody then. Like
I
these are
felt
your
like he was
friends and stuff.
panicking more whenever he knew she was alive over the phone than actually
Yeah.
meeting her.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. And the one thing is, like, he obviously still felt like, yeah, but you're right. You're right. They just sort of walk in on each other, and I'm like, guys, no hug and nothing. I get it. I get she's undercover, but it's like, bro, this is like the first like time you've
Okay,
seen her since before she quote unquote died, which is probably at least more than a year or two ago.
when she reached towards the door with the wrong hand,
Oh, that did hurt my heart. That did hurt my
I
heart
was
just a little bit.
like, boom, and then they kind of look at each other. I was like, "Oh God, they actually made
Ooh.
that joke."
Well, it's not even a joke, bro. Like that's just like some real shit, bro. I'm just like, damn. Like I get it, it hurts. And she's like, she says to him, she's like, stop looking at me like that. It's like, well, how can he not? Like you're missing an arm. You didn't tell anybody about that. So I don't
Yeah,
know. It's all I enjoy all of that. It's just yeah, it felt a little odd the way that they sort of like came back together, you know? Anyway, so we skip away along to the last episode. So the last episode, it's very like claustrophobic, horror
we're,
filled one. They
we're watching.
stars, yeah. So Brooklyn's there, retrieves the eggs of Santos, and Santos is like, this facility is burnt. Everyone's gonna know about them because her dinosaurs escaped, and they're all over the area now.
But
And
what was it? The dude turns out to be alive. I guess there was an exit
SARS,
in
yeah.
the back
Oh,
thing,
there would have had to have been. There would have had to have been. But not
which
only
also
that,
leads
so
me to think, why didn't the Baryonyx just leave sooner then?
well, the thing is, mate, what gets me is that like I was like, this character needs to die. Like he's like insane in all the wrong ways. Like not even in a like I hope I see him again way. It's like he's just like bro. Like when Santos points the thing at him. Sure, he has a little moment where he walks up and he's not like impressed by the laser because even though he just saw it kill like Mr. Sullivan or whatever, like the bloody
Several.
pilot.
I'm assuming several other people because then she
Yeah,
sent
I assume
Red to
so,
like
right?
clear out the
So like he
facility.
knows what it is, and he was just pretending to be unfazed. Which, by the way, just to jump back to that quickly, what a scene, by the way, for like. So I wish I was joking with you here, Eric. I was writing some like a little bit more on my Soyona story before I saw Chaos Theory season 2, and there's a line in there that she uses on because I was writing it like ahead of time, thinking that like, well, the campers are on the boat, they're probably gonna disrupt her supply chain there. So I wrote it in my little tale how I was like, oh hey, like she's on the phone to the captain guy, and she's like calling him up over the phone when she's like getting driven around Malta, and she's like, so let me get this straight, you allowed like 5 young adolescents to disrupt an important part of my supply chain, and you lost my merchandise, mate. And then watching the episode, I should be writing the show, bro, because I watched the episode. She's literally when she hears she like the fella lost the Majungasauruses and stuff, she's like, so let me understand this correctly. And I was like, oh, that's like the line I wrote. And he's like, you lost precious Majungasaurus and allowed the escapees. I was like, dude. I was like, I swear to you, Eric, man, I wrote this shit out like 2 days before I even knew the season was released. It was crazy. I was just like, you cannot make this up, bro. Like, I am the guy. Anyway, that's just a bit of self tutelage there. But anyway,
Honestly, I can reveal the next part. This is my favorite part of the show. This was my favorite part of the show. It leading up to this, I feel like everything leading up to that part of like when they meet in the hallway. Cannon fodder a little bit. I feel like it's leading to a bigger season 3, maybe. Like,
because
they know there's going to be a season 3, and therefore they're like, all right, we can just do whatever we want. But like, so what is his name? SARS. They meet him. They're like talking, whatever's going on. And
yeah, so Santos immediately just like lasers him straight away. She's like lasers him, yanks Brooklyn back into the back room, gives him this last little like look like and then she's gone.
Go. Red starts going, and he's just like, in the the baryonyx comes out, and I was like, oh, he tamed that thing. Oh, he's friends with it. What?
I know. I was like, damn, bro. And so then Red, I love though that as soon as Red starts running up, bro, the baryonyx just yells and he just comes to a screeching halt. I'm like, yeah, that's realistic. That's realistic.
Just like Red just stopped. But I was like, oh, are they gonna like fight? What's going on? We having another dinosaur fight?
Yeah.
And then like he's snapping,
bro. My lounge room went quiet. Bro, my lounge room went quiet. We couldn't believe what we had just seen. We were like, that is the most intelligent thing I've seen a raptor of any sort do since the first movie when they opened the door, bro. I was like, that is insane. What do you mean? And it's just watching him do the click.
It kept going until the baryonyx was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, I can't see who's going on.
Oh, I was like, what is going on?
Bro,
it was turned towards him. And they're just like, we got to get to the camera facility. We're gonna miss the best part, and they're going.
Oh, love that. I love her humor.
Camera, like it's cornered him, and then they kind of like pan away, and she looks back. Oh, we missed the best part.
Like, bro, Dixon Lackman, dude. Honestly, like standing ovation to him, bro. Coming back and voicing his character again, dude. She was the highlight, absolutely, for me of this season. Obviously, probably without a surprise to many, but like just the like extra bit of like not humor even, but like just the way she was able to completely make this character her own once again, and just expand upon it in all the ways I wanted to see. Like it was so nice to see. So I'm just so very glad that we got to have her back. And for the looks of it, as you say, rolling into season 3, we'll look like be getting her again. And we'll get into that in just a second. So anyway, so the facility ends up blowing up. They all escape, thankfully.
They turn out the lights and it starts chasing them. That was
bro. Like that was a proper horror movie stuff there, bro. I couldn't handle that. So they end up escaping and get a lift with I can't remember her name. Yeah, anyway, the tall girl's dad and stuff like that. He's great. I liked him for like the 2 minutes we had him, bro. He was doing all the jokes, man. He was fun. So they end up running back there to the airport. Now, here's where, again, from the start.
Honestly, he was making like dinosaur dad jokes.
Bruh.
Like Darius's dad.
That's
and I thought there was going to be a moment there where he was like going to use one of his dad's, like he was going to use one of his dad's jokes on him. And I was like,
Absolutely.
you missed a moment there. Like
It's all right. They was in the middle of their friend was getting taken away in
the
the van with the
same one
broker.
from Chaos Theory where he's like in the bed and he's telling.
Mm.
I forgot the joke completely, but like if Darius had said it, then it would have been a moment. Like
Yeah, that would have been fun. No, that's all well and good. So we get to the plane, and Brooklyn's loading up the eggs and stuff like that. And then, of course, Kenji stops her,
Kenji
and
just
they're like,
like at
they
all
have a whole
costs
movie.
trying to catch her.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I love that. What I really love, mate, that I was still thinking about this to this moment was that like Santos knew the whole time what was going on. As soon as she saw like that the campers were in there, she kept like turning back. Which, by the way, how fucking cool was that shit, bro? She had on like night vision sunglasses, bro. That was some spy shit, but I was
That
also
was
like,
cool.
that's like the natural evolution
Leaving
of like
Brooklyn in the dark though was
yeah, the
kind of
Brooklyn
funny.
goggles and stuff, bro, from the first movie, bro, from the night vision goggles. That's absolutely how stuff would have evolved from then, and I just love that, man.
Honestly, it
So
kind of would have been funny if they went into another room and she had like the same goggles.
bro, I don't know, bro. Yeah, bro, that'd be
That
that'd
would
be
have
that'd
been
be
too
too silly.
forced,
That'd be
but
too much.
it would
That'd
have
be
been funny.
crazy. But so anyway, I think what I like is what I like though is that like so when they get there, like someone is just looking out the window, like she knows straight away this whole time that like she's been
Closed
in
the
contact,
window.
and she gives them the option. Yeah, she gives her the option. She gets the thing off her wrist, and she could have like pointed it at her and like had like red bust out the back of the jet and just bloody yeah maul them all there. But she gives her a minute to like see how she handles the situation, which I really enjoyed about her. And so yeah, so we get them all talking. They're all really happy to see her, and it does give me like the little bit of like oh come on we're doing this like where like you like I'm not saying
Yeah.
Brooklyn you knew you got a job to do, and I'm like yeah I get it, but like I don't know, I just felt like that it left the campus specifically like so from as far as we know, Eric, she didn't even say anything to like what them or what that she was doing or where they were going. Like how must they possibly feel from seeing that? Like that's crazy. And
They're just like,
so
oh, the one person that's
yeah, the
like
one person who was
supposed to
doing
be
all this
dead
for her,
is
she
now
doesn't be alive,
evil.
and she doesn't even want to see us. Like that is some crazy stuff, bro. So yeah, but so just to sort of like wrap her all up there at the moment, like that. Yeah, that's where everything official goes. We get from the season. Like here's the thing, maybe like I've seen many people actually say they like the season better than the first one, which is all well and good. You know, you can like what you
Fair
want.
enough.
You can
It's
like what
got
you
it.
want, especially if you like more self-contained sort of like tales and stuff like that. Me myself, I don't like rating Jurassic. I never have.
It's
But
got
like
its
if I have
point.
to, yeah, if I have to talk about like is in terms of like pure enjoyment and the theories, I not judge these movies, but I enjoy these movies on how many theories and questions and lore add-ons and
I
stuff I can get
definitely
afterwards. And I didn't,
for lore
unfortunately, I haven't. Sorry, yep,
for lore, I would put season 2 above season 1, but for pure
probably, yeah.
enjoyment, I would put season 1 above season 2.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gents. And for me as well, like they added so much more to season two that I ever thought they would have done. But what it is for me though is that like I like making theories for months afterwards. And when I can't lie to you, is when I watched that last episode, I just sort of didn't have anything that I really was thinking about. I just was stunned. I was like, oh, so what do we do now? Like there's nothing. We have no idea where they're going, no idea what they're doing. So yeah, and the only thing we can say so far is that we figured out that what we're heading towards is next season is my favorite biogenetics company,
Biosyn was mentioned
bro,
by name.
bro,
Well, actually,
bro.
no,
I love that.
it wasn't mentioned by
It
name.
was rent. Yeah, I love that. She says to her, she's like, "So with the facility gone
Brooklyn
and
said
your animals
Biosyn.
free, what are you gonna do now?" She's like, "I made a more profitable deal." Like with who? It said the man who owns the biggest genetic company in the world. And I just love
Yeah.
that because we've already seen Dodson in Camp Cretaceous, bro. They have the model, bro. They just have to mod it a little bit more, bro. Dude, I'm so excited for that, dude. So
They
you
don't
know
even
where we're
have to
heading,
do
bro.
that. Like, they
We're
could
heading
just
to the
leave
freaking
it as is.
Dolomites, bro. We're going next season, man. We're gonna see the Giganotosaurus, bro. The Therizinosaurus. We're
Dude,
gonna see
I'm
all of them
hoping
again, bro.
so because
Bro,
I
we
want to
will,
see
bro. It's
more
gonna be
of
so
that
good.
with like
Yeah. Look, I've said this on record, and I'll say it again right now for you, mate. As far as Dominions goes aesthetically, maybe not story wise or plot
oh,
connected, but like
100% aesthetically better.
as far as aesthetic goes, it's my favorite film since the first movie. It actually is, like environment wise, like lore wise and stuff like that, like secret
I
document
wouldn't go that
file
far,
wise.
but
I like Dominion the most, like from all of the other films. That's why you see it on my profile photo here, bro, on my shirt. It says
yeah,
Dominion Defender. That's what I am, and I will defend that movie because I enjoy
it's
it
not.
like quite a bit.
I think it suffers
Mm.
from bad timing.
Oh,
If you ask me,
of course, and
if
of
it were to
course, as
be
you can
released,
imagine,
okay, if it were to be released like where Rebirth is being released, it would do so much better. I feel
I
like it would
honestly don't
get better
even.
reviews.
Yeah, I don't even know. I think again, mate. People hark on about the bloody bug plot all the time, bro. But like for me, it's like they miss the point. I've said it 100 times with each of you guys, but like it's the fact that it's not about the dinosaurs, despite what the title says and everything says. Like Crichton made Jurassic Park as like a warning of genetic power falling into the wrong hands. That's what the locusts are. They don't have to be specifically dinosaurs to be a threat. That's the whole
And
idea.
I genuinely believe they're like, I do think that, like, okay, there is a plot there. It is like good plotted. I just think it should not have been the first movie
Yeah,
whenever it's just like
yeah,
dinosaurs are on the
dinosaurs are
mainland
everywhere.
now, and you
That's
don't
right.
even look
Yeah.
at that. It's not
Because I
even
mean, look at
close.
us now. Oh, by the way, did you notice, bro? You could tell that this season was made before the announcement of like the plot of Rebirth came out, bro. Because you see that line where Darius was saying to, I can't remember her name, but he was saying to little tour guide girl that he said that dinosaurs are here to stay, so we might as well learn as much about them as we can. And I was like, oh, Darius, oh,
Yeah,
no, man, you don't know, bro. It's coming. It's not about 6 years time for you or something like that, bro. But they're pretty much going to be mostly gone. They're going to be on the equator and that's it. Like they're not anywhere else. So
yeah.
we shall see. I'm looking forward to that
See.
still,
We'll
though. I
see
want to
how that.
see.
We'll see how Rebirth goes. We'll see.
Yeah, we're heading
That is
towards our
definitely.
force. You know, you want to know the crazy shit? And I hope this does not offend anybody listening if they're still listening, bro. Think of it this way. So this new movie is gonna Rebirth's gonna cap off a new trilogy, right? Do you know what that
Definitely, yes.
means? Do you know what that
Yep.
means? We are technically heading for the Force Awakens of the Jurassic Park trilogies now, bro. We are heading towards the seventh
Oh,
film, bro. I know we're heading towards it, bro. And look what they've done. They've done what they've done with the Star Wars, bro. They're taking us back to an island. They're taking us back to the. I'm like, oh, that occurred to me the other day.
we
It's
don't
gonna
need
hurt you,
another
isn't
Death
it?
Star, guys. Come on.
That's it, bro. The Death Star's the island, isn't it? First movie had an island, and this
This
movie is on an
time
island.
it's bigger, and there's more
This
dinosaurs.
This time there's dinosaurs on another secret island that you bet you didn't know about at all. It's like, oh boy. So anyway, I'm
That's
excited for
what
that. I love to
Manticore
point
Island
that out
was.
now.
Let's be
I
honest.
just love pointing that out to people. Like we are literally in the seventh Jurassic movie, which is the seventh Star Wars movies, Force Awakens, capping off a new trilogy that people are already unsure about. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
I do think stepping back and showing. I am curious how they're going to do it because I have heard Spinosaurus is coming back and all this crazy stuff.
Everybody's saying it, but who knows yet, bro? It could be anything. We don't know. But to wrap up my last thought that I have here on Chaos Theory, because I do need to take off shortly, is so the only, like I said, the thing that got me stumped the most from the season that left me kind of wondering was like, well, what are they going to do now? I've said it multiple times
Yeah.
in this recording, but like, where do they go? What do they do? We haven't seen, like, nothing was said. They have no idea where she's going. The last thing we saw them exchange, the conversation was they said that Bumpy's egg is in that case. And then
Well,
she
no,
has
they
this
have it
very
now.
sad look, right? Yeah, they have it. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. They obviously have the egg, which means that she went back down those stairs to talk to them, right? Now here's the
Yes.
tiny little detail, Eric, that I've been able to figure out that I reckon people have mislooked over, right? And I don't know how they're going to use it, but if they do use it, I will be so happy to be right. So you remember, bro? You remember? So obviously she's gone down there to give him the egg and explain. Hopefully she's just explained what's actually going on. Hopefully,
Probably. My guess
hopefully,
is
bro.
probably.
Yeah, we're gonna get to like episode 1 of season 3, and then Derek is gonna be like, "All right, we need to find our way over to the Dolomites because this," and then they're gonna have a little quick flashback of like what she's actually saying. She's actually doing that. She doesn't
That would
actually
be
hate
my
them.
guess.
Because I mean, dude, this is a kid show at the end of the day, bro. You don't want your friends thinking that it's okay to just ditch your other friends and go with, expensive
Evil
dinosaur
people.
broker ladies. Anyway, so they're gonna do that. But here's the other thing, mate. Tiny little detail that people overlooked, bro. You remember the tracker they found on that submarine?
Yeah.
I reckon they've put that tracker inside the case there, where
Oh,
Bumpy's egg
didn't they
was, like
get rid
under
of
the
it?
foam. They didn't. No, no. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Did they get rid of it? If they still have it, because I'm pretty
Didn't
sure Ben said like this because of this, and he shows them the tracker. I don't think he threw it away. I could be wrong, but I think because if you destroyed it, then sure, back to square one. But like, if they kept that tracker, Ben kept that tracker. But here's the thing: like, even if they kept the tracker, I don't think they have any way of reading the tracker. Or
Yeah.
maybe Brooklyn gave them a phone or something and that she can use to sync up to it or something. But my idea was that they put the tracker under the memory foam in that bloody case, so that way they know where they're going and they can follow them to the Dolomites and to Biosyn and all that sort of stuff. That's my guess anyway. Or who knows? Maybe they're not even going to
I,
Biosyn. Maybe they're going somewhere near it.
yeah. I mean, She could also not be talking about bias. I mean, there's so much going on.
Chief, it's got to be Biosin, bro. But you're right. There
It's
are other
gotta be,
companies
but
out
you
there
never.
making dinosaurs.
She could also be talking about engine still. Like
Well, the thing is, I think
she
InGen got
didn't
absorbed
say
by Mizrani.
biotin.
Well, yeah, because InGen got absorbed by Mizrani Global, like eaten into that company, and then when the company tanked, InGen was like kind of finally put to rest. But you're right, there can be other companies out there, dude, making dinosaurs. But the thing is, you got to put yourself in her perspective, right? If you're her, and we heard her goal in this season is that like she says the demand for dinosaurs will only ever increase, and I intend to fill it. Well, who else do you pair yourself with if you try to attain that goal, bro? Than the biggest corporation out there, than the biggest dog
Yeah,
out there. You don't go to a smaller one if you want to be the queen pin, so to say. You gotta go with the biggest one, and that's what Dodson is.
yeah.
So I'm
I
excited
think
for that, bro.
I think rewatching it, I will definitely have to rewatch it because I want to know if they got rid of the tractor. I feel like
I
they did.
swear to you, I believe like Ben just shows them. He shows them it just when Gabba gets taken, but
I
I don't
He
recall
might have
if they
showed him it,
destroyed it.
but I think they would have gotten rid of it because it's a
You
tractor.
think they would, right? You think they would, or maybe could they just have turned it off? I don't know. Who knows, bro? But like, if they still have it, if I turn out to be right about this, bro, this will be one of my best like guesses or whatever, like ahead of time predictions I've ever done. Like this, because that's really sadly, that's unfortunately, that's the only thing I have. Like that's literally it. There's nothing else because the series, like I said, season
Yeah,
kind of just answered a lot of questions. It really answered a lot of questions. We found out how Brooklyn survived, which, by the way, I still don't buy, bro. Like Ghost bites her arm off. Like it would have torn into her with its sickle claw, bro. Like there's no way. You have to imagine that the Allosaurus then
well,
somehow
they
made
had to
its way over there.
amputate.
I guess, but
That
even
was the
still,
whole
it's like
thing.
I just don't know, bro. I just don't
And
buy
maybe it
that.
didn't like bite her arm, but it just like bit and like ripped most of it off, or like it
Yeah,
just
tore most of
chunk
it.
out of it. So she
Because
couldn't.
yeah, perhaps you're right. I just, for me, bro, it's like I'm like, well, but that doesn't really answer the question because not only that, but like the raptor trainer lady was still there. Like I get they had their hands full with the Allosaurus, but like I don't know, bro. It's just so very. I was like, that. Wait, really, really? I don't know. Okay,
I
fair
don't
enough.
ever
So we
get
got
that.
that answered. We got that answered. We got like what has she been up to this whole time? She's been with the DLW or whatever they were. Yeah, Dinosaur Liberation Front Movement or whatever. We've done all that. We found out that the broker was Santos. We found that out, which I thought was going to be a season 3 reveal. But yeah, and now we know that we're going to Biosyn, so it's like they're kind of heading straight towards into Dominion the way they did with Fallen Kingdom in Camp Cretaceous. So I'm like,
Absolutely.
that's why it worries me. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm worried that we're only going to this next season might even just be like the final season, because if they're
It
already
could.
going there and they're already getting everything together, bro. Like I hope I'm wrong. I don't want it to be.
I feel like if anything, it might end up suffering from the same thing as Camp Cretaceous, where they kind of run out of
Potentially.
stuff and they're just like, new magical dome island.
Yeah, which again I
You're
think is
like,
cool as shit, but I understand why people didn't like it. But here's the thing: people still give that Manticore twist like a lot of shit. But really, dude, like they laid the
it's
groundwork in
good. It
episode
just
like
feels a little
3,
forced.
like of season 1, bro. It's not like they just made up Manticore like on that season 4, bro. Like they had it in
They,
like
they, ha-
it was
they
always
had
going to
it
be a
since the
plot.
beginning, but
Yeah, like I had it from the beginning. It was always going to be a plot in the show, but like we know how that all turned out. Anyway, so nah, bro. Like I mean, honestly, Eric, mate, that's all of my bloody thoughts at the moment. For season 2, like again, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Obviously, not
no,
maybe
I always enjoy
potentially
new
not
content.
as
I
much
mean,
as season 1, but I still have the desire to go back and rewatch it almost as soon as we finish here.
absolutely. Like,
Yeah, bro. And like I say, mate, do you have any
I'm
other
watching
final
them.
thoughts yourself?
Again, it had its moments.
Hmm.
It had its moments that also made me angry, but we won't talk about that. Oh my God, Mr. Sugamans. What was that? Wow, I don't know what happened there.
Wow, that was weird.
Oh, that cough is really catching me here. I'm still waiting to see Acrocanthosaurus in the series.
It
Let's
could be
bring back a
interesting. But yeah,
Prime.
so what about predictions though for season 3, bro? Where are we
All right,
heading now?
so
So
season 3,
yeah,
I'm gonna give my quick prediction. I want to hear yours. Just
right.
from what I've said, from what I have said, from what I have heard, from what I have seen. Biosyn seems like the most obvious answer.
Well, remember Brooklyn specifically says Biosin. She says that, so we know
Brooklyn
that that's what they're
specifically
talking
says
about.
Biosyn. Manticore is dead. Engine is dead.
Yeah,
I doubt it
that's
could
why.
be either of them.
Nah, well, that's exactly right. Because Biosyn is we know since this takes place before Dominion that Biosyn is the king right now of all genetics companies in the world. They have like a stock of like was it like 51 billion or whatever, something like that, something crazy. Anyway,
Some crazy
it's
number.
madness. Well, and the thing is, bro, remember I told you when I first met you, mate, that I liked the inclusion of Biosyn in Dominion, bro, is like the top dog now, waited after InGen's time, and they're like they're the pinnacle of genetic forward thinking stuff. And I actually hope, Eric, that if we go there, that we see more of like the labs and stuff like that, and the way that science works there now, bro. Because I want to see all of that.
I
But
have a feeling that we're going to
mm,
get like a split view thing for season
yeah,
3,
definitely.
and it's going to be. So my two theories is it's either going to be the campers their journey to Biosyn Valley, which will take a
Yeah.
while. That'll take a
Oh, for
whole
sure.
season worth of stuff.
Well, the thing
But
is, you couldn't even
also,
get in there, bro. We saw how Owen Claire got in there. They crashed a plane, bro.
yeah,
It's the only way you get in there,
and I
bro.
think we're also going to see Brooklyn and Santos's like view of everything in Biosyn. So we're going to get some working, and I do think season 4 will be like crap hits the fan again. We get another island tragedy. They gotta escape from Biosyn Valley. Fire, death,
Mm.
brimstone. Maybe they come across a dead Giganotosaurus.
Could you imagine? Just imagine if they try to pull that shit they did with the Fallen Kingdom and stuff like that, where it turned out like they were actually there during the events of that, and if they somehow managed to be there during the forest fire, but like on a different part of it. It's like we know that Alan Grant and all them are actually they're
Yeah.
there, but like they don't interact. Could you imagine that shit? Oh
Well, they
my
did the same
god,
thing with Jurassic World. I mean, that
they
was the
did.
whole season 1. They're just like
Yeah.
running away from the Indominus Rex, and apparently the Indominus Rex just has time to just mess with them.
Yeah, bro, and then then like they had like sprinkled in there. They had like they had a little bit of Fallen Kingdom there with the Mosasaurus jumps out and eats the guy in the yellow raincoat, bro. Like they done all of that. So yeah, no, I don't know, bro. If they do manage to somehow do that, bro, that'd be crazy. But here's the thing,
I
my only
feel like that's
prediction.
just going to be what it is to tie it to Dominion.
Well, they are going to tie it to Dominion. I've seen two different side theories. I've seen one that apparently Santos is going to take the information of this linguistic baryonyx to Biosyn, and apparently that's how they make like the blind Therizinosaurus. I'm like, that's interesting. Interesting
Don't they
thought.
have some kind of weird call to call in the dinosaurs, and that's how they all do it whenever the
Yeah, well, yeah, they have the brain chip thing, stuff like that, and I assume they already have that. You know what it might be? You know what it might be? Kenji might obviously Dodson might recognize Kenji if we end up seeing them all together, and he'll be like, "Oh, that's right, your father gave us this technology," and all
who
this sort of
knows?
stuff. Like you helped do this or whatever it was. So here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. So the only thing I can possibly think is that we know that it's obviously all going to go wrong for Santos in a way, but she's not going to end up
I
in
have a
jail yet
weird
because
theory,
she's. Oh, all right, yep.
just completely outlandish. I'm gonna throw this out there.
Oh boy.
So we know that Biosyn Valley is like north is Italy and like the Alps, right?
Yeah, in the Dolomite Mountains.
So it's north, and Malta is way far south.
Hmm.
So clearly, East Africa, Malta, Biosyn Valley.
Hmm.
So maybe Brooklyn helps get Santos captured, season 3, and we get to see some events of why they go to Malta, what's going on in Malta. Maybe she gets
Possibly.
all of the Atrociraptors, and then they're in Malta or she buys them or whatever, and she's teaching
Because I,
Brooklyn
I
whatever.
imagine she wouldn't be invited to the Biosyn, like, because really, at the end of the day, as much as we all love her, she's a criminal, and Dodson probably would not like to be seen associating with criminals at his side of like official, cover. So like, I imagine what's going to happen is that yeah, we're going to head towards Malta, and then like we're going to have like the
And,
Amber Enclave market there and stuff like that, and
and
Dodson's going to
Brooklyn is
meet
not in
her
Malta.
there.
So
No,
I'm
exactly.
thinking, so obviously they get separated somehow. Maybe
Mm.
something happens. Santos gets all of the Atrociraptors. Maybe they meet the Whistle Lady, and the Whistle Lady's bad, or not, well, bad, but against
I reckon
Santos.
she must get betrayed by them or something, eh? Because there's no way she would allow them to maybe sell like Santos to sell the Raptors. She was selling them to that like Nigerian prince or whatever it was. So so for me, bro, the only thing I've got is Santos's word from Dominion when we first meet her, bro. She specifically says to Dodson, she's like, "We'll need payment up front this time. I didn't like what happened last time." So that whatever it was that happened last time, it has to be involved with the campers. So I don't know
Absolutely,
what that
that
is.
that
I
would
don't
be
know what
my
that
guess.
is,
Like,
but that's the only thing I've got, bro.
I feel like forcing it into the continuity of the movies would be is a bit too much.
Oh, for sure. And like,
I
I
don't
don't
think
imagine we're
people
gonna
do
get
it.
like close the
Don't
season
get
with
me
like them
wrong.
having like the locust forest fire or anything like that. Like, I don't imagine they would ever go that far because this obviously has to take place before Santos is arrested and stuff like that. Even though, believe it or not, that whole like movie of Dominion that takes place over like a day or 2 days or something like that. It's very quick.
it kind of reminds me of that, like, I think it's Batman Arkham City, where it's like this really long game and it's like just continuity just all in one night. You're like, don't
Mm,
overthink it. Don't
yeah, don't
don't
really.
overthink it.
That's it, eh? Anyway, everybody listening along still, that is everything we have for you today. So, Eric, would you like to close us out, my good G?
Well, I guess before we end all things, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Huge shout out to today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you enjoy these majestic creatures I talk about here on the podcast and would like to go see them for yourself, I would heavily recommend Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips is a company created to give people a behind-the-scenes in-look on museums and dig sites, along with just having an amazing time looking at these amazing, fabulous, majestic creatures. So if you sound interested, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them Prehistoric Life sent you and get $250 off your tickets. Now, back to the show. So, I mean, I guess any final thoughts before I 100% close this out?
Oh, look, as I say, Chief, just the fact that I was so vindicated that my queen Sayona showed up and she was such a prevalent part of the season. Like that to me was my highlight. I have no other thoughts for that. I just
That's
look forward to seeing her in the next season.
Honestly, the Atrociraptor Red just clicking at that blind baryonyx was my highlight. Honestly,
That was your peak.
that was so. I was sitting in class and I saw that and I was just like, oh crap! I'm gonna have to leave and freak out in the hallway.
No dramas.
But
All
if you
right.
want to see reels, more content from me, and see content from that dude down there, go check out
That's me. That's
Instagram.
me.
You can
My
most
guy.
definitely find a collab from us on there. That is
Oh
100%.
yes.
Or you can just search Jack O'Hara in the search section right about here somewhere from my
I'm
view.
not too hard to find.
But if you want to see my content 2-ish days in advance, I try to post it 2-ish days in advance. Not this one. What was that? Go check out my YouTube
What?
channel, Prehistoric Life Podcast. And if you want to see all of my content in one place, go check out my website, Prehistoric Life Podcast. From there, you can get to my YouTube and my Instagram. And I hope you all have an amazing afternoon, morning, evening, or night, whatever time it is for you. And other than that, I'm your host, Eric Crawford. That's Jack O'Hara.
That's me.
Signing off. Keep it
Ciao,
prehistoric.
ciao.
Goodbye. All right. Well, we got 25 seconds of bloopers. What we got?
Oh, we ain't got no bloopers, bro. But my lord, bro, when she walked in, bro, looking like a baddie, bro, I was like, oh my god, yo, everybody was hitting me up, and it was like, hey, yo, Jack, man, there's this crazy shit, this show
You
you
need
ain't
to
gonna believe it.
watch it.
I was like, bro, they going to Australia, bro? Are they going there, bro? My naive ass, bro, I had no idea, man. I was like, bro,
I remember when
I'm
I
impressed.
accidentally texted you. I was like, "Ah, red." I was right about red. You're like, "What do you mean by that?" And I'm
Yeah, I was
like,
like, what the fuck are you talking
"Oh,
about?
wait, yeah.
I
He's not in it."
love that you were like, oh, this man hasn't seen anything. He's about to get the biggest shock of his life. I texted Daniel afterwards. I said, damn, we should have done a reaction to that, bro. You just would have had like a high pitch, like, just on the screen, bro. Like, it would, bro,
The
you
honestly,
would, oh, mate, it was crazy.
we gotta find a way to just like pirate it or whatever, and just season 3 react to it, man.
Bro, we'll figure something out, bro. Because that was wild, bro. Like,
I
dude,
know
when
it would get taken down instantly,
I've
but
spoken to half a dozen people, bro, and they're surprisingly, bro. They're like, bro, I couldn't tell that was Santos to begin with, bro, because she doesn't look the same in animation. I was like, yeah, I can understand that. Looks a little different, bro. But again, bro, for me, as soon as I heard her talk,
I
I was
could
like,
tell based on I could just at first I was a little like, oh well, who's this lady? What's going on? And
yeah,
then I
who is
was like,
this?
oh, same suit, same white, same.
Bro,
Is
as
that the
soon as I
bracelet in
saw like
Dominion?
the female silhouette coming through the bloody the window, whatever, I was like, is that her? Is this actually gonna be her? Oh my god, we're
When
here.
she was when she was like, oh yeah, no, wrong floor. I thought that was gonna be a comedy bit, Like
Oh,
she
she
just
tried to
went through
play it
the
off.
wrong
She
floor.
tried, man. She tried to play it off, and oh, I love though that straight away, like that look of shock on her face was so genuine because she's like, "Oh my god, this is her. This is like she knew her immediately. Like there's no fooling around her." But like she just, I love that she was able to be so calm, cool, collected, and just sort of like played into every scenario, bro. And dude, she was the way I've envisioned her bloody handling situations and stuff like that, bro. She was that ruthless bloody no nonsense taking bloody female queen pin as soon as someone failed her, bro. She clicks the bloody laser on them and they're gone, bro. Like that's exactly how I was imagining her, bro. She was just just so happy to see her, bro.
Did she have the bracelet in Dominion?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. She had the burst of dominion, bro, and that was the actress's idea. Like when she was like coming up with the idea, Colin Trevorrow and her like or discussing ideas of like what to do for her character in there. Like
That's good.
she bloody created that thing, bro. That was all her idea. That wasn't going to be in the thing at all if had she not spoken up.
It
So it's just
makes a
so
lot of
cool, bro.
sense because it
It's
is kind
just
of
so
like
cool.
clicker in the pocket, or it's just like, "Ping, all right,
Well,
we're
it
good."
just makes sense, bro. It's like, dude, it's like
This is a
to
long
me, it makes
movie.
sense. Like that way, you never caught with a gun on you. It just works. So I'm just so happy with all of it, bro. And I don't know, I'm just thrilled, bro. And like I wanna, I've got to get in touch with everybody else, bro, and ask them what they thought, bro. Because I feel like most of them are all gonna be like, oh, Jack's gonna love this, bro. Oh my god.
Oh, absolutely. I was like trying so hard to not just be like, Santos is in it. I was
Santos
that
is
you were
there,
like, I just hope
right?
Santos is in it, and I'm like, you won't be disappointed.
He's yeah, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? What you mean by that, bro? Everybody left me like voice recordings and stuff, bro. They were just like, Jack, there's something in here you're gonna really like. I'm like, ooh, they going to Australia finally, and they were like, what do you mean by that? I said, well, they've already got the Aussie Outback like created from season 4 of Camp
Better
Cretaceous,
than
bro.
that.
Yeah, better
Better
than that.
than
And I was
that.
like, oh, really? And as soon as I saw her, bro, I was over the moon. I
Santos
couldn't
is
believe it.
in Australia this time.
Yeah, it's like they're doing the thing that I said. Wow. Which is weird, actually, bro. Did you know, Eric, man, that apparently one of I didn't know this, but you know the actress who's playing Brooklyn now? Oh, man, it's frozen again for a sec.